Hey guys, welcome back to another brand new video and thanks so much for tuning in. Today I'm going to be talking all about the importance of producing more than you consume and why this is arguably the most important lesson to learn if you're serious about building your wealth. First, we'll take a look at why you should be creating more than you consume and some of the benefits that can have for you. And then I'm going to give you 3 really easy to use steps to help you start creating more right away. So do make sure you stick around to the end of the video for that. And if you do find anything in this video helpful, then please go ahead and let me know by hitting the like button. It takes just a couple of seconds to do and it really helps out the channel, so I'd greatly appreciate it. So why should you create more than you consume? Well, firstly, creating makes you smarter. For example, if you create a restaurant, then the process of doing that is going to require you to learn all sorts of new things along the way about the restaurant business. Whereas if you just go to a restaurant as a customer to consume a meal, then you're not going to be engaging your brain at the same level because eating and drinking is something that the vast majority of people don't need to use a lot of brain power for. And the same principle holds true for things like reading versus writing or listening to music versus singing. But there are also times where consumption makes you smarter too, and reading can be a good example of that. It really just depends on what you're reading. So for example, if you're reading a book about investing in the stock market and you're planning to use that information, then reading and consuming that book is a really good thing to do because you're learning a valuable skill. Whereas if you're reading fictional stories like Harry Potter or Game of Thrones, then it's quite likely that you're doing so for entertainment purposes and you're probably not going to learn a great deal from that. The second reason to create more than you consume is because creating makes you richer. I mentioned earlier that creating more than you consume is the most important rule to building wealth, and here's why. With the exception of things like gambling and inheritance, the only way to make money legally is through creating value for others in some form or another. And the more value you create, the more money you will have. For example, a best-selling author is rich because they've provided value to millions of readers who were willing to pay for a book that added value to their lives by entertaining or educating them. And Jeff Bezos is the richest person in the world because he adds value to many different people in many different ways through his company Amazon, which serves hundreds of millions of customers and provides over 1 million jobs to people globally. On the other side of creation is consumption. And where creation adds money to your bank account and makes you richer, consumption takes money out of your bank account and makes you poorer. Rich people are rich because they create more value than they consume. And if they didn't, then they wouldn't be able to hold on to their wealth for very long. Imagine trying to fill a bathtub with just a few drops of water and no plug in the drain. It's impossible unless you significantly speed up the flow of water or you plug the drain to stop the water from escaping. And building wealth is kind of the same way. You want to have as much income going into your tub as possible with as little as possible going out at the other end. This is why you hear about lottery winners who end up broke just a couple of years after their big win, because they get a huge surge of income and their consumption then skyrockets. But they aren't creating any value elsewhere, so their money is going out via consumption much faster than it's coming in through creation. The problem with consuming too much is that it detracts from the time that you could be spending on working towards your goals. Now, I'm not suggesting that you immediately stop all consumption and focus every last ounce of your energy into creating, because it is really important to find a balance where you can have the enjoyment of consuming the things that you like, but you also have time to create something and work towards your goals in that way. Consumption is fine as long as you're creating more than you consume. But where consumption becomes an issue is where it's not taking you any closer towards your goals. For example, if you want to build muscle, spending hours watching online fitness videos and reading articles about bodybuilders won't get you to that goal. It might be useful at first if you need to learn some basic information about exercise and nutrition. But in reality, you need to cut out the pizza, get over to the gym and lift some weights if you really want to see results. In cases like this, it can be really easy to think that consuming information is getting you closer towards your goals. But there does come a point where you just need to start taking action to create results. And when you put in consistent work and learn from your mistakes, you will make progress towards that desired result. And if you want to create a successful business, you have to get out there and try out different ideas by putting them into action. And over time, that way you'll learn what works and what doesn't. And that will take you in the direction of the success that you want to create. Whereas if you spend years researching and consuming knowledge about the type of business you want to start and planning for every possible outcome, the odds are that you're never going to get started. And even if you do, things are going to happen that you can't plan for. And it's only the experience of trying, failing, and then trying again that can prepare you for dealing with something like that. So don't aim to be perfect or spend excessive amounts of time planning the details beyond what's necessary. Just get out on the field and start playing, because that's the only way to win, and consistent creation will inevitably improve the quality of what you create anyway. Now, as promised earlier, here are 3 really easy to use steps to help you start creating more right away. Step 1 is to define your goals and exactly what it is that you want to create. You need to get really clear on what you're trying to achieve so that you know exactly what you need to do in order to get there. It's far easier to hit a bullseye when you can see the target. Step 2 is to plan time into your day to work on your goals. So make sure you're setting aside an hour every single day to take action on that. This time shouldn't be spent on planning, so make sure to do that separately, as it's really important to use all of this hour to focus on creating. Some goals can seem unachievable when you look at them from a distance, as it's overwhelming to think about the amount of work involved with achieving really large goals. For example, writing a book seems like a mammoth task when you have to think about having to write 300 to 400 pages. But by scheduling in an hour every day to write just a few paragraphs, you're going to start to build momentum, and then before you know it, you're going to be sitting in front of your first draft. Consistency is absolutely key, so by setting time aside every single day to work on creating something valuable, you're guaranteed to get there in the end. And lastly, step 3 sounds really obvious, but that is just to start. When you go to sit down for your planned hour, there will inevitably be times where you don't feel inspired or motivated, or you just don't have the willpower to do it. But you really need to just push through those emotions and work on your goals whether you feel like it or not. Often the hardest part is just getting started, and once you get over that first hurdle, the rest of the time really won't be that difficult. And also try to remember that it's only an hour, so you can stop after that if you want to. So there you have it. I really hope you learned something new here, and do feel free to leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought of today's video. Also, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. It only takes a couple of seconds to do, but it really helps me out and it helps the channel to grow and reach more people too. I post a brand new video right here on the channel every single week, so if you want to be among the first to be notified when a new video drops, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also turn on those notifications by clicking the bell icon down below, and you're then going to be notified as and when new videos are released. As always, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you right back here next time.